I'd encourage you always go with the Bible, okay? Romans 11. This one is a big section to read, but man, it's really good. Let's take a look at this. I say then, have they, he's talking about Israel, Jewish Israelites, have they stumbled that they should fall? Certainly not. But through their fall, to provoke them to jealousy, salvation has come to the Gentiles. Now, if their fall is riches for the world, and their failure riches for the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? For I speak to you Gentiles, I magnify my ministry, if by any means I may provoke to jealousy those who are of my flesh, genetic Jewish people, genetic Israelites, and save how many of them? Keep that in mind. Of the genetic Israelites, he's trying to save some of them. As many as possible, right? If the root is holy, so are the branches. And if some of the branches were broken off, and you being a wild olive tree were grafted in among them, and with them became a partaker of the root and fatness of the olive tree, do not boast against the branches, but if you do boast, remember that you do not support the root, but the root supports you. You will say, then branches were broken off that I might be grafted in. Well said, because of unbelief they were broken off, and you stand by faith. Do not be haughty, but fear, for if God did not spare the natural branches, he may not spare you either. Therefore consider the goodness and severity of God on those who fell. To those who fell severity, but towards you goodness, if you continue in his goodness. Otherwise you also will be cut off, and they also, if they do not continue in unbelief, will be grafted in. For God is able to graft them in again. For if you were cut out of an olive tree which is wild by nature, and were grafted contrary to nature into a cultivated olive tree, how much more will these who are natural branches be grafted into their own olive tree? That blindness in part has happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles has come in, and so all Israel will be saved. A little bit ago it was what? Some, and now it's all. Notice there is a difference though. When it was some, it was genetic Israelites, but now you have the Gentiles included when all Israel is saved. I get to be an olive tree to illustrate this. So the olive tree represents the Israelite people, the Jewish people. And out of the roots, the Old Testament and all the rest of it, okay? So when Jesus comes on the scene as the Messiah, do all the Jewish people accept him as their Lord and Savior? No. Do some of them? Yes. And so what happens? God prunes off the unfruitful branches that don't have belief. Some of the branches are down on the ground. But some have faith, they stay. And then some of the Gentile branches, wild olive branches, have faith, and God grafts them in. And they start doing really well. And there's some of the Jewish branches on the ground are looking up and saying, hey, wait. That Gentile, it's doing really good in my spot. But maybe I should accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior. And so they accept Jesus, God grafts them back in, and they do really well. And so you have some Gentile and some Jewish branches, but there are still some Jewish branches on the ground and still some Gentile branches out on the olive tree. But every branch of faith, Jew and Gentile, is in his olive tree.